The back segment tonight, as we told you in the Talking Points memo, Dr. Ben Carson now running second to Donald Trump in the national polling. As you may know, African Americans usually vote Democratic, and more than a few of them buy the theory that the Republican Party is anti-black.
To a significant extent, the Republican base does have elements that are animated by racism.
Nowadays, if you are racist, you're probably a Republican.
Their stated policy, publicly stated, is to do whatever it takes to see to it that Obama only serves one term. It is a racist thing.
There's also a dark vein of intolerance in some parts of the party. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is they still sort of look down on minorities.
The question tonight is simple. If Dr. Ben Carson is doing so well, is he not a minority, General Powell? Listen now, here in New York City, David Webb, Fox News contributor, and Keith Boykin, columnist for BET.com, former White House aide to President Clinton. Do you think the Republican Party is racist, Mr. Boykin?
I think that it has racist elements in it, just as I think several of the commentators before acknowledged. I don't think that it's a racist party entirely, but since the 1968 with the Southern strategy going to Barack Obama questioning his background, his identity, his birth certificate, you have a party that is dedicated.
Was that on the party platform? I don't believe it was.
No, it doesn't have to be on the party platform. You have everybody in the political party who's basically condemning Barack Obama.
Everybody in the party?
Well, almost everybody in the political party. When I say everybody, I don't literally mean everybody, but I do understand that this party has a problem with racism.
I
think that's indisputable.
Are there racists in the Democratic Party?
Absolutely, but I think that
every party that's racist.
The Republican Party caters to racism in a way the Democratic Party does not.
Can you give me an example of that?
Oh, yeah, well, look at 1968, Southern strategy. Look at Jesse Helms' ad in 1990.
He says North Carolina. You know, was Jesse Helms running the Republican Party?
Yes, he was running the Republican Party. I worked on Mike Dukakis's campaign in 19. Jesse Helms was a Republican. He ran in 1990 against.
He wasn't running the Republican Party.
He was running with the Republican Party.
No, he was a senator from North Carolina.
Okay, yes, but he's a classic Republican. I worked in 1988 for Mike Dukakis.
Robert Byrd was a senator from West Virginia.
Was used.
Robert Byrd
was,
and Ku Klux Klan member.
And he disavowed those beliefs. The Democratic Party used to be a racist party until 1968, and the Republicans adopted the Southern strategy.
Abraham Lincoln was a Republican.
Yeah, but you're going back in time.
I know. So are you.
No, but the Democratic Party used to be a racist party until 1968. It's no longer a racist party.
I've been very patient, but I've also been a Republican for over 40 years. So let's put that in context. Are there elements within American society, right or left, that have racist elements? Yes. Institutionally, no. We don't accept any codified law, any social mores in the Republican Party. They have had an issue with going to the minority communities around America and engendering a base of support there. And I would say to the black community, why are you giving your vote unyieldingly to a party that no longer needs you or gives you, if you look at the urban environment, any future path to success? When it comes to racism, we have to deal with the individual aspects of it, Bill. And this constant cry and narrative is to paint Republicans as someone to run away from. So they will use whatever necessary platform to say that, but cannot provide proof.
Well, he's definitely a vote getter. But Carson, I think, proves, Mr. Boykin, that a black American with a message of self-reliance can and will be embraced by the Republican Party. Am I wrong?
Well, you know, black people liked Ben Carson for many, many years when he was just a neurosurgeon and before he became a political candidate. Republicans didn't start liking Ben Carson until he started attacking Barack Obama.
That is patently
Republicans
false.
Weren't even paying attention to Ben Carson until he went to the prayer breakfast and he attacked Barack Obama. That's when Republicans started liking him.
Attacking a policy and attacking a man.
When he compared slavery when he compared Obamacare to slavery, that's not a comment that black people would support, but that's a comment that white Republicans particularly are willing to.
Look, Keith wants to stay here and stay on the attacks. Let's separate the policy, as you talk about, from the man. Dr. Ben Carson has lived by conservative principles his entire life. His mom, who decided that education was important while he was in the tough neighborhoods in Detroit. All the principles that led him to where he was, earning his way forward, not having entitlements handed to him. So he stepped out politically and spoke on policy. Now, I happen to know Dr. Carson. And I can tell you that this is a man who has always been who he is. Therefore, his decision to come out and be a Republican candidate is reflective of who he has been his
And he's
entire
been very
life.
well accepted.
He's a great
been very well
neurosurgeon.
accepted. Well, look.
See, but can I make an
That's-
additional point, Bill?
real quick.
BET, where you work, BET was in love with him, the movie about his life. They ran this movie repeatedly. They, since this has come out and he's come out politically, have not. You on the left like to push aside Republicans and put them into a narrative that fits
There's
your
a political
belief.
agenda,
So
that's
all
for sure.
black people who support Barack Obama are dumb, and people who support
I
Barack
never
Obama
said that.
are smart.
Now
That's-
we're wandering
Okay.
here. That was a good
Okay.
debate, but I got to go.
Okay.